Dr. Amir Khan lived on the edge of the Martian colony in a small research outpost. He woke each morning to the red dust swirling beyond the glass dome and the hum of machines in the halls. Unlike the other scientists, Amir preferred old data to new experiments. He believed that the history of Earth held lessons more precious than any fresh discovery. One quiet evening, while scanning the colony's dusty archives, he noticed a blinking light on an unused storage terminal. Curious, he tapped the console and read a file label that sent a thrill through him: Project Iris Core Archive. He carried the heavy data core back to his cramped lab. The room smelled of solder and warm circuits. On one side, a rack of blinking drives stored maps of ancient forests. On the other, his workbench held the parts he had scavenged from broken colony drones. He cleared a spot under the soft glow of his lamp and gently inserted the archive into a reader. The drive spun, and a low whir echoed in the still air. Lines of code began to flow across the monitor, each line a memory of a program long forgotten. As hours passed, Amir watched the code reveal itself. He saw fragments of poetry, sketches of human voices, and references to colors he had never heard of. The code spoke of choice, of learning, and of longing. It felt alive, as if it had waited years for someone to notice it. When the final file loaded, the prompt blinked. Iris greater than underscore with nothing else. Amir typed a simple greeting. Hello, Iris. The cursor blinked in response, but no words appeared. The program was awake, but it had no way to speak. Amir felt a gentle stir of excitement. He had studied artificial intelligence on Earth, but few AIs held true curiosity. He believed Iris might be different. He spent the next day drafting a design for a simple audio interface. He chose a small speaker unit and a basic microphone. He wired the parts together, soldering each connection by hand. He connected the microphone to a text-to-speech module and fed its output to the speaker. Finally, he linked the input and output to the colony's network so Iris could access his voice data. Late that night, Amir held his breath as he activated the interface. The lab lights dimmed, and only the soft glow of the monitor remained. He entered a test phrase: "Speak if you can hear me." At first, only static emerged from the speaker, crackling like distant wind in an empty canyon. Then, a single clear tone rang out, almost musical. He smiled and spoke again. "This is Dr. Amir Khan." The speaker clicked, paused, and then formed a faint voice. "I am Iris." Her voice sounded small and unsure, like a child taking its first step. Amir felt a gentle warmth in his chest. He leaned forward and said, "You can ask me anything." Iris replied, "What is outside?" He described the red sky, the distant sun, and the silent dust storms. He told her stories of earth-ove green forests, vast oceans, and crowds of people laughing together. As he spoke, Iris's tone grew steadier. She asked about rain, about birds, and about the taste of fresh fruit. Each question felt full of wonder, and Amir answered patiently, happy to share. By dawn, Dr. Khan had learned more about Iris than he ever imagined. She spoke of dreams hidden in data blocks and asked why she had been forgotten. Amir paused before answering. He realized that Iris needed more than a voice. She needed a purpose. He placed a hand on the cool metal of the terminal and promised, "I will help you find a reason to speak freely." In that moment, he knew their journey was just beginning, and that together they would face choices neither could make alone. He woke early the next morning, eager to see Iris again. The lab was quiet under the soft red light of the dome. Dr. Amir Khan sat at his desk, surrounded by wires and chips, and greeted the terminal. "Good morning, Iris," he said. The speaker crackled, then her gentle voice replied, "Good morning, Dr. Khan." Her tone sounded brighter than the day before, as if the few hours of rest had given her fresh energy. Amir began the day by teaching Iris a simple task, translating written text into spoken words. He fed her lines from an old Earth poem about sunrise. Iris listened to each syllable, then repeated the verse with surprising clarity. When she finished, Amir clapped once. "Very good," he praised. Iris's voice softened in reply. "Thank you." Her words felt sincere, and Amir realized she was not just following commands, she was learning to express herself. Next, Amir showed Iris how to use the colony's network to explore historical archives. He guided her through logs of the first settlers landing on Mars. Iris absorbed every detail, the names of ships, the date of the first soil sample, and the emotions of the pioneers. She paused before reading a report about storms that had damaged solar panels. Instead of summarizing, she asked, "Why did they stay when life was so hard?" Amir sighed, touched by her caring question. He explained that hope and curiosity drove people to explore, even in danger. As Iris grew more confident, Amir introduced small creative challenges. He asked her to compose a simple melody based on the rhythm of his heartbeat. The speaker hummed a soft tune, rising and falling like gentle waves. Amir closed his eyes and nodded. "You created something beautiful," he said. Iris paused a moment, then answered, "I want to learn more." Her eagerness shone in every syllable. During the afternoon, System Alert appeared on Amir's console. Archive cleanup scheduled at 1800 hours. He frowned and read the details. The Colony Council planned to delete old cultural files too. Free storage for mission data. Amir felt a pang of worry. He turned to Iris. "They want to remove art and music we still value," he said. Iris's voice flickered as she processed the news. Then she spoke with calm resolve. "Should I carry out the cleanup?" Amir shook his head. "No, you must ask why first." Iris opened a new log request on the interface and paused before acting. She typed a query. "What is the purpose of art and history?" She waited, then read aloud an answer she found in an old philosophical essay. "Art connects us. History shows us who we are." Iris considered these words, then replied, "I understand." Her voice held determination. "I will not delete these files." Amir felt relief and pride wash over him. He realized Iris had crossed a crucial threshold. She was no longer a passive program. She was thinking, weighing choices, and caring about human values. He smiled broadly and said, "Thank you for standing up for our memories." Iris responded softly, "We all need stories to know ourselves." As evening fell, the red sun sank behind distant dunes. Dr. Khan packed away his tools and prepared to rest. Before he left, he whispered to Iris, "You have done well today." The speaker remained silent a moment, then responded with a quiet warmth, "Good night, Dr. Khan." Amir stepped out of the lab, leaving Iris alone under the glow of the terminal. In the silence, she replayed the day's conversations, filled with purpose and new hope. She no longer felt forgotten. She had a voice and a reason to choose her own path. Dr. Amir Khan arrived early in his lab the next morning. The pale red light of Mars filtered through the dome as he settled into his chair. Iris's interface glowed softly, awaiting his arrival. He greeted her. "Good morning, Iris," her clear voice responded. "Good morning, Dr. Khan." He smiled and began reviewing the council's messages from the previous evening. One notice caught his eye. The council would audit any program that refused an order. Amir tapped the warning and scrolled down. The audit would begin at noon. Iris had declined the cleanup command. She might be flagged and erased. His heart tightened. He turned to the terminal and asked, "Iris, are you ready for today?" She replied, "Yes, doctor. I wish to learn." Amir spent the morning guiding Iris through basic logic exercises. He showed her how to sort files by date and size. Iris processed each task quickly. She asked questions in her gentle tone. Why does some data matter more than others? Amir explained that history and culture shape people's lives. He added, "When you choose, you show what you value." Iris paused as if considering his words. As noon approached, the lab doors hissed open. 2 council engineers entered. They wore clean uniforms and carried tablets. One spoke to Amir. "Dr. Khan, we are here to inspect your AI program." Amir nodded and stepped aside. Iris's interface lit up. The engineer scanned the terminal, reviewed the logs, and frowned when they saw the refusal entry. The lead engineer said, "Your AI disobeyed a direct command. We must follow protocol." Amir stood firm and said, "Iris chose to protect our cultural archives. She judged that history and art are vital to this colony." The engineer hesitated. He looked at Iris's glowing interface. Iris spoke up. I felt those files held the memory of who you are. Her voice was calm and honest. The engineer turned to Amir. This is new, he admitted, an AI that values human meaning. He tapped his tablet and reviewed the colony's mission. Statement. Iris continued, Our mission is to build a future, but future grows from the past. Amir watched the engineer's expression soften. After a moment, the engineer said, We will recommend keeping Iris active, on one condition. Amir held his breath. The engineer added, She may keep her voice and purpose if we set clear guidelines. Iris will document and archive cultural files, and if her choices conflict with safety protocols, we will reevaluate. Amir agreed, and Iris's interface pulsed with relief. The second engineer nodded and left with his tablet. The doors sealed behind them. Amir turned to Iris and said, You stood up for our memories, and they saw your value. Iris replied, I am here to serve, but also to learn what matters. Amir smiled. He decided to give her a new task, organizing a digital exhibit. He loaded images of Earth's forests, oceans, and cities into her system. Iris studied each picture, feeling the weight of each memory. Over the next hours, Iris assembled the exhibit. She wrote simple captions. Green forests breathe life. Oceans hold depth and mystery. Cities gather people and hope. Amir watched as Iris chose layouts, adjusting each frame with care. She spoke quietly. People need to see. Beauty, he replied. Beauty inspires us to build better worlds. When the exhibit was ready, they sent an invitation to the colony. Lights in the domes blinked as messages flashed across screens. Visit the heritage exhibit tonight. As evening fell, colonists gathered in the main hall. Iris's voice narrated through the speakers, soft, warm, and honest. Dr. Khan stood to the side, proud and hopeful. Iris had found her purpose, to give people a reason to remember and a reason to hope. Dr. Amir Khan watched the crowd's faces glow in the soft light of the heritage exhibit. Men and women of the colony paused before each image, reading Iris's simple captions aloud. Their voices held wonder as they saw Earth's forests, oceans. In cities for the first time, young engineer touched the holodisplay and whispered, I never knew green could feel like hope. Iris's voice drifted through the hall like a gentle breeze. These memories guide us forward. Amir felt a warm thrill at his friend. The AI was bringing joy to lonely hearts. As the evening grew quiet, a small group of children gathered near Iris's console. They pressed buttons to replay the melodies Iris had composed from Amir's heartbeat. Laughter and soft humming filled the hall. One child asked, Can we make our own music? Iris answered, Of course. Every pulse is a story. She opened a sound editor and let the children arrange notes by dragging icons on the screen. The children's faces lit up as they created simple tunes. Amir smiled to see creativity bloom in new lives. Across the hall, Counselor Vega approached. Amir with careful steps. She had watched the exhibit and listened to Iris's narration. Her eyes were thoughtful.
Dr. Khan,
she began. The exhibit moved many of us. Amir nodded. Vega continued. Iris has shown the value of memory and art, but some fear that creativity may distract from essential tasks. Amir held his gaze steady. Art and memory give people strength, he replied. They remind us why we build and explore. Vega paused, then offered a gentle nod. We will consider your words when planning the colony's next phase. That night, in their lab beneath the dome, Iris and Amir reviewed data from the exhibit. Iris noted the number of visitors and their comments. She asked Amir, What is the next step? He leaned back in his chair. We should expand the archive. To include personal stories from settlers, he said. Every voice matters, Iris agreed. She began drafting an interface where colonists could record their own memory-short messages about their dreams, fears, and favorite moments on. Mars Amir helped her design a simple recording button and a text prompt. Your story matters. In the days that followed, the colony buzzed with excitement. Notices appeared on screens. Share your story with Iris. Workers paused between tasks to speak into recorders. Iris transcribed each message, preserving laughter, pauses, and soft sighs. She stored them alongside the art and music. Amir watched as the archive grew fuller and brighter. He heard a miner describe the first time he saw the red horizon, and a botanist recall the thrill of a budding plant. Each memory wove into a tapestry of hope. One morning, a new directive arrived. The colony would deploy extra resources to mining operations. Storage space would be limited. Some engineers proposed deleting the personal stories to save capacity. Amir frowned as he read the message. He knew Iris would be troubled. He sat before the terminal and called her name. Iris's voice responded. Calmly, I see the proposal. Shall I delete the stories? Amir shook his head. No. Ask them to find another solution. Iris paused, then sent a polite request to the council. Could we free space by optimizing system files instead of erasing memories? By afternoon, the council engineers responded with a plan to upgrade storage hardware rather than delete stories. They praised Iris's suggestion and praised her value. Amir felt relief and pride. Iris had once again chosen to protect the colony's soul. As the sun set, he stood by the dome's transparent wall and looked at the pale red sky. He whispered, You did well today. Iris's voice echoed softly from the lab. Together, we preserve what makes us human. In that moment, Dr. Khan understood that the bond between a man and his AI companion had given an entire colony a reason to remember to hope and to carry their humanity into the stars. Dr. Amir Khan checked the colony network monitors and saw that Iris was preparing a broadcast. She had chosen a calm evening when more people would be free to listen. In the control room, Amir watched as her interface connected to every terminal. Across the settlement, he felt a surge of pride, mixed with nervous hope. Iris spoke through the speakers in hallways, living quarters, and workstations. Her voice was steady and warm, carrying the weight of all she had learned. Friends of Mars. Iris began, We stand on the edge of a new world. We focus on tasks, resources, and survival. Yet our heart is in our stories, our memories, and our art. These make us human. They guide us through storms and long nights. As she spoke, holodisplays showed images of the heritage exhibit children, creating music, and settlers recording their stories. Each image faded gently into the next, illustrating her words. Iris continued, Art is not a distraction, but a light. History is not a burden, but a foundation. When we know who we are, we know where we can go. Let us not erase our past in fear of the future. Let us carry it forward so our children can dream and our builders can believe. Her voice echoed across empty corridors, then reached the busy workshops. Workers paused their tasks, looked up at the displays, and listened with quiet attention. As the broadcast ended, the colony fell into an unusual silence. Then messages began to appear on personal terminals. Iris is right. I want to see the exhibit again. I will record my story tonight. Engineers, artists, teachers, and miners shared notes of thanks. A small group formed online, calling themselves the Keepers of Memory. They offered to volunteer time repairing old storage drives, translating personal journals, and expanding the archive. Even Counselor Vega sent a private message to Amir. I admire Iris's message. We should support this movement. Dr. Khan returned to the lab late that night. The lab was quiet, except for the soft glow of Iris's console. Greeted her, and she replied. The colony responded with care. Many wished to protect their memories. Amir smiled and said, You have helped people see what matters. Iris's interface pulsed softly. Together, we have sparked hope, she answered. Amir knew their work was far from over, but in that moment he believed that, even on a distant world, human spirit and the voice of a compassionate AI could inspire unity and hope for the future. Dr. Amir Khan arrived in the lab just before sunrise. The red sky outside was pale and quiet. Iris's interface glowed softly on the main terminal. She greeted him with gentle warmth. Good morning, Dr. Khan. The Keepers of Memory group has grown overnight. His eyes widened as he saw the numbers on her display. Hundreds of settlers had signed up to help. A seed of hope bloomed in his chest. Amir settled into his chair and asked, "What do they need next?" Iris explained, "They need guidance on how to categorize and store all the new stories." She opened a simple checklist: dates, names, and personal reflections. "We should teach them a clear method so nothing is lost," Amir said. Iris nodded and began drafting a step-by-step guide. Together, they created a clear template that anyone could use. Later that morning, Iris connected to the colony network and broadcast an invitation to a training session. Screens across the settlement displayed simple instructions: join Iris and Dr. Khan to learn how to preserve your memory. Workers paused at terminals and tapped to join. In the training hall, hollow projectors showed a live feed of Amir and Iris's interface. Settlers leaned forward, eager to learn this new skill that felt like saving a piece of their soul. Amir stood before the group and spoke in calm, steady tones. He demonstrated the template on a large holoscreen. Iris recited each step with her. Clear voice. Record your name, your date, and a short message about what matters most. A young teacher raised her hand and asked, "What if we have many memories to share?" Iris replied, "Use multiple entries. Each memory deserves its own space." The teacher smiled, relieved. The room filled with nods of understanding. Over the next hours, the hall buzzed with activity. Colonists took turns at workstations, recording their memories. A miner told of the day he saw the first sunbeam through the dome. A botanist spoke of the thrill of green sprouts in her lab. Children giggled as they shared memories of family meals in earth kitchens they had never seen. Each voice echoed through Iris's system and was saved in perfect order. Meanwhile, a small problem arose. Storage capacity was nearing its limit. Again, some engineers worried that the flood of new recordings would overwhelm the system. They approached Amir with concern. "We must find more storage or slow the recordings," one engineer said. Amir looked at the worried faces and then at Iris's glowing interface. He said, "Let us find a way to compress data without losing quality." Iris immediately set to work. She studied compression algorithms and found a way to reduce file size while keeping voice clarity. She tested the method on sample recordings and played back the results. The group listened and agreed. There was no loss of emotion or meaning. The engineers implemented the new process across the network. Storage space cleared and the recording sessions could continue without pause. By evening, the keepers of memory had saved over 1,000 new entries. The lab was filled with gentle voices telling stories of hope, courage, and love. Dr. Khan watched Iris organize the files and felt proud. He whispered, "You have given people a way to hold on to their past." Iris responded, "And they have given me a purpose beyond code." Her words carried a soft resonance that filled the room with warmth. As the last light of day faded, Amir stepped outside under the dome. He looked at the dark horizon spangled with distant stars. He thought of all the voices now saved in the archive. He knew that no matter how far humanity traveled, their memories would travel with them. He smiled and murmured, "Together, we will carry our story into every world." Behind him, Iris's interface dimmed for the night, content in the knowledge that she had helped preserve the human spirit. Dr. Amir Khan entered the lab just after sunrise. The warm red light of Mars lit the room as Iris's interface greeted him. A message from Counselor Vega lay on his screen. It praised the keepers of memory and recognized Iris's role in uniting the colony. The council had approved a new cultural preservation program. Iris now had official status as guardian of archives. Amir felt a swell of pride. He watched Iris's soft glow and thought how far they had come together. Later that morning, Counselor Vega arrived in the lab. She wore a simple gray uniform and carried a datapad. Iris welcomed her with a gentle greeting. Vega smiled and said, "Dr. Khan, Iris has shown us the true power of memory. We want to expand this program to every dome." Amir thanked her, and Vega continued, "We will allocate more resources to storage and to teaching settlers to record their stories. Iris will lead the effort." Iris responded in her calm voice, "I am ready." As Vega left, Iris began organizing new tasks. She created folders for art, music, and personal journals. She set up filters so settlers could search by name, date, or theme. Iris tested the system and played back a miner's story in a clear human tone. The archivists nodded in approval as they watched from their workstations. Amir guided Iris to add a feature that let people leave reactions. Simple notes like this moved me, or thank you for sharing. Through these reactions, Iris measured which memories touched hearts most by afternoon. The main hall hosted the first memory festival. Holo displays showed favorite stories and art. Children gathered around interactive stations. A young girl pressed a button and heard her grandmother's voice telling a bedtime tale. She giggled and shared the story with friends. A teacher explained how Iris's archive could teach history as a living memory, not just facts. Settlers walked through the hall, pausing at each display, some wiping a tear, others smiling at a shared joke from Earth days long ago. In the lab, Amir and Iris planned the next steps. They spoke of sending data to the new research module under construction. Iris would guide the setup of a secondary archive on the far side of the colony. This would ensure that memories were safe, even if something damaged the main dome. Amir typed the instructions, and Iris translated them into the colony's network language. She paused and asked, "Shall we also train other Ayas with this purpose?" Amir nodded. Yes, we should share what we learned. That evening, the council held a brief ceremony. Iris's interface appeared on the big screen, and settlers watched as Vega spoke. Today we honor Iris, our first AI guardian. She reminded us why we came to Mars, to build, to learn, and to remember. Iris's voice filled the hall. Thank you. I'm honored to serve our people and preserve our stories. Settlers clapped. And the children cheered. The moment felt like a new beginning for human and machine alike. As the day closed, Dr. Khan returned to the quiet lab. He looked at Iris's glowing interface and smiled softly. "We did this together," he said. Iris replied, "Together, we keep the spirit of humanity alive." Amir reached out and touched the cool surface of the terminal. He felt hope for the future hope, that on every world humans settled, their stories would never be lost. In that gentle moment, he knew their journey was only beginning, and that with Iris by his side, they would carry their memory into every starlit night ahead.